everybody. Raul here for Bass Musician Magazine, and today we have the great honor and pleasure of getting together with Taylor and Vincent for Specter. They're going to tell us what's new, especially in the realm of the NS Dimension series for 2021. Take it away, Taylor.
Raul, nice to be here. Specter, we're hitting our 45th anniversary this year as a company, which is pretty exciting. And this is under the new ownership under Korg USA, and we've been at it about 3 years with the brand. And one of the first things I think we thought about when we picked this brand up is we want to do a multi-scale bass. We knew that. It took a few years to kind of get the process in place and come up with something that we thought was cool, but it's pretty exciting. I think that this is the kind of instrument that really resonates with our fan base. We have a lot of rock and metal guys. We have a lot of heavy players. And the multi-scale thing is at this point, I think it's really not a trend anymore. It's a thing, So we definitely want to dip our toes in those waters. And I'm really happy with what we came up with. So the NS Dimension is our first multi-scale bass, which is an exciting thing and seems to have a great response so far.
Got you. And who wants to tell me about the specs on this instrument?
So I'll go a little bit over the basics, and then I think when we get to the electronics, I'll hand it over to Vincent, by the way, is from a band called Moontooth. They're actually local to our offices here in New York. A great band. Check them out if you haven't. Unbelievable good rock band. So basically, the Dimension, well, the first thing we wanted to do is obviously keep it as a Specter, right? So when we're making a Specter with the NS body design, we have to have that curved radius to the body, so it fits up against your body. We got to have the headstock and all that kind of stuff. So we wanted to make sure that we were making a Specter bass. And these are built in Korea. So this is our high-end sort of Korean product. Its price range is right around $2,000. The 4-string is $1,999. The 5-string is $2,099. And so there's a lot going on here, a lot of new stuff, actually. So what we're using is a poplar burl top, and it's not a lamb top. It's actually like a 1-inch thick top. That's how we do all of our NS basses. Because of the curvature, we can't use a lamb top. You'll lose it as you start to shape the bass. Mm-hmm. So it's a 1-inch top and then a swamp ash back, another 1 inch of swamp ash. And so that's the body wood. And this is a neck-through construction bass, right? So Specter's known for that. That's where the NS kind of heart and soul is in the neck throughs. So you have a maple neck that runs neck through, but we actually did a 5-piece maple and wenge neck on this bass. A little different, a little bit of a different cocktail there for us. We usually do a 3-piece maple, but you get those nice wenge stringers in the back, and it's kind of cool. So we're using a wenge fingerboard, which is another kind of fresh approach for us. Wenge is a really cool looking wood. It's got a really cool grain pattern to it, and it's hard and it's dense, and it makes for a really good fretboard. So those are the kind of the woods we're using there. One of the cool things about some of the new stuff we're doing, especially out of the Korean factory right now, is we're taking some of the stains that we do up in Woodstock at our custom shop. And we're kind of inspiring some of the import models now to use some of these stains that we've come up with in the USA. Mm-hmm. So that stain right there that Vin's holding is called Haunted Moss. Yeah. That's something we came up with in the USA shop. And it became sort of an instant classic for us. We were kind of like, wow, this is just a great look. So we brought that over to the import line. And the other finish we have is called Super Faded Black. Again, works really great on a maple burl top. Get that kind of swirly figuring going on. And when you kind of do a multi-stain where you sand the first finish off and then recoat it with something, you just get this kind of cool multicolor look. So those two finishes are coming out of the USA shop. So that's kind of important. And that's something we look to try to keep doing, is have the USA custom shop inspire our imports. Beyond that, we have the typical multi-scale approach here. So we're going with a 34 to 37 scale as you go up to the B string. Mm-hmm. And the frets kind of get perpendicular around the 9th fret, I believe. That's where it starts to transition over to the other side. And I think we found that was a really nice balance so that the upper frets didn't get too fretted, sideways. Can't use the one word I want to use. Mm-hmm. So it's a really nice balance. And I think, as you talk to guys that aren't familiar with multi-scales, I think you hear a lot that you get used to this pretty quickly. Yeah. I think at first the multi-scale thing can kind of be a little intimidating for some guys because it's like, whoa, I've spent my whole life, playing a certain way and now I got to adjust. But in reality, and I think Vin could testify to this, pretty quickly you get used to it. It's very comfortable. But what it enables you to do, for those who don't know what the multi-scale is kind of used for, is you can get a lot of clarity and precision out of those low, deep tones. And also not take too much tone out of the high strings because you're not extending the scale of the bass for those strings. So guys that tune way down, heavy metal guys, progressive rock guys, you're going to be able to get into some real basement tunings, but still be able to hear that string ring clearly. And that's kind of why the multi-scale is a thing, right? So like I said, that kind of works in tandem with Spector. We're known in the rock world. We're known for having a tone of a bass that really punches through a mix, especially when you get into swampy guitars and heavy, distortions and things like that. So this is really just an extension of kind of our vibe anyway with tone, but now we have the ability to have a multi-scale. So the electronics in this bass is where we kind of made a little pivot, and I think we're offering something a little different than some of the other products on the market. We opted to go with the Fishman Fluence system. These pickups, in my opinion, are amazing. It's a whole new approach. There's no copper wire in there. It works off of microchips and processors and things I don't even really understand. But the result is an extremely quiet, extremely articulate electronic system that enables you to have a ton of voicings and a ton of tones. Now, me personally, sometimes I get a little skeptical of things like that, like in products in the music world. I know with guitar modeling and, things that kind of like Swiss Army knife approach, usually it doesn't resonate with me so much. I kind of get wowed at first, and then I kind of go, I'd rather just kind of do my old thing again. But with the Fishman Fluence system, I think they really struck something, because I've noticed players, even pro-level players, really gravitating toward it and accepting it and being really energized by it, which is really cool. And I think they really stumbled on a really new way to do pickups. And you can mold the sound of this bass to almost whatever you need. So for like session players or guys on gigs that don't want to bring multiple instruments, things like that, I think it really works really well. And actually, this might be a good time if we let Vin maybe go through some of those electronics.
Yeah, perfect.
So, all right, Vin, you want to walk us through all the tone variations you can get from those Fishmans for us?
Absolutely. So Raoul, Taylor, thank you for involving me in this. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to talk about this bass and these killer electronics. And like Taylor said, we got the Fishman Fluence system and preamp here. It is a Swiss Army knife. This could be something really good for people that are in the studio that are looking for the variety of tones, or if you're a set and forget it kind of guy, you can do that with a ton of different voicings. So as to get into here, we have the humbucker pickups right here. And then we have this three-way voice switch where if you're going all the way up, you get like a nice passive tone. And I'll play some styles with these. I just figured I'd go through them first. But we got a nice clean passive tone. If you go all the way down, you have like your active tone. Like that's a ton of people that love Spector basses. They're really going to dig that. And then in the center position, you have almost like a scoop mids kind of tone. That's really good for like slap style and stuff like that.
Nice.
And the one really cool thing about this bass, like I said, Swiss Army knife, right? Let's say, I'm not really into the humbucker thing, I'm into the single coil thing. Well, if you pull your volume knob just like that, your humbuckers go into a single coil mode, and now you can have that classic jazz bass tone. So going through the tones, let's see what we got here. So let's start with the passive tone. So you could do any Jimi Hendrix style. That's really good for the passive stuff. If you're going, moon tube stuff.
Jen, give us that low B. Just give us a nice chunk on the low B.
Oh, there. Yeah, sure. Like I said, you want that active low B. You can get all the heaviness. You can shake all the stuff off your walls with that.
Very cool.
With the multi-scale stuff, there's going to be a lot of people that are into like prog metal and, Meshuggah where they're going to be doing like a lot of low groove on the low strings, but also what I really like about, like Taylor said, the 24 to 27 inch scale length. If you're doing a lot of the low end tuning stuff, like I know Moontooth, we have songs that have like a low G, and you know that low string gets a little flubby sometimes, and like with the multi-scale, like I'm noticing you get more control with the pick attack on the low string. So we'll demo that. Like, it's all right there, all you need it to be, which is really cool. And then, like I said, super versatile. You can go into the single coil mode, and for players that don't do the heavy metal stuff and want more fingerstyle.
Yeah, so I mean, you can see you have 3 different voicings, and then with the 3 voicings, you have a single coil and a humbucker setting. The tone palette, and then from there, you also have the EQ controls. So, you know, it's
Treble, scoop, and push, you know?
Yeah, you basically have the way to carve any sound and tone you really need. And I think for a session player or someone in the studio, or again, somebody that just doesn't want to have a quiver of basses to cover all the, for lack of a better word, basses. I think it's a great product. I'm really psyched that Specter has a multi-scale instrument out. We've seen so much excitement from our fans, and I can tell right now we're going to be making new colors of these things. We're going to be freshening it up. We're going to continue. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a 6-string in the works. You never know. One of the things too with the multi-scale basses is you really need a specific set of strings. You know, you can't just order a regular set of strings and they won't fit. Right, so we actually have strings coming. We'll have those in about a month, I think, with the packaging and everything all set up. We didn't have it lined up perfectly when we released the instrument, but we are going to offer our strings, which we just revamped our whole string series as well. So Specter's coming out with a whole new kind of vibe with their strings. So it's nice to know that we will have the strings that are shipped on the bass, you know, to buy. We're in a little bit of a window here where you'd have to kind of replace them with another brand until we're ready to get to market. But hopefully soon. So yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. We had a series out of Korea called the Legend Classics for a long time. And this bass, the Dimension bass, also our NS Ethos, which is a neck through, more standard scale bass, and the NS Pulse, those are our first 3 new models that are sort of replacing what the Legend Classic used to be in terms of a price range and a value standpoint. The things they're making in Korea these days are just, the quality is just tremendous. Just something where we're really trying to see where we can push it and the best possible bass for the best possible price. You know, our Euro series that's made in the Czech Republic are absolutely pro-level instruments, but we want to be able to cover all price points here, and we want to make sure that we have something for a guy that's under $2,000, under $1,000, you know, 1,000. You know, we even have starter basses that are $399. And then, of course, you can come to the USA Woodstock shop and build the bass of your dreams, and that, you know, varies in price. But I think we're in a good place right now as a company, kind of offering something that's really compelling in all those price points. So, but this specific model, we haven't seen as much excitement over anything we've done, I think, since owning the brand, than the Dimension. The Dimension has really kind of launched us into a lot of people's eyes and ears, and I think that it kind of almost has taken a lot of players that didn't know Specter or weren't familiar with Specter's tone, all of a sudden said, hey, what's that? I need that. You know, I want to check that out. So, you know, we hope to just continue with the excitement on it and hopefully build on it.
Very cool. Well, and I do want to mention one thing that I didn't want to forget, hardware, because I've noticed the way the bridge is set, it's the kind that has each string separately. Yes. So
there's like almost a separate bridge.
Exactly, for each string.
They're almost more of like complete saddles that have a bridge around them. Yeah. But yeah, those are brass, and we have the die-cast tuners on there. Everything's really quality.
And the nut?
That's a graphite nut. That is not a brass nut on there. It's a really nice piece, and like I said, it comes in at a price point that it's a little better than some of the other multi-scales out there. Might be a little more expensive than a few, but we think we're in a really good spot to try to make some noise in this market.
Gotcha. Well, and as great of a job as you're doing, Vinny, on the Skype, it doesn't really do it justice. So, and I know you're running through some nice dark glass electronics. We can't forget the dark glass stuff that's giving you part of your sound. But I want to take a moment here. I'm just going to add in a clean sound sample, non-Skype, so people get a chance to hear it. Okay, guys, that was great. If people want to find out more about this particular bass, where should they go?
Well, for general information on anything Specter, www.specterbase.com is kind of your home landing page. You can learn about every model we make, from the USA's down to the Performer bass. We have a merch shop there. We have all info, wiring diagrams, specs, details. You know, you can find out if you're like a nerd on specs, you can find out what radius, what bridge spacing, all that kind of good stuff. So that's a great place to start. And we've expanded our dealer network all around the country. So chances are in your town or somewhere near you, there's a decent Specter dealer now. And usually if they don't have what you need, you know, they can order it as well. But, you know, we're always happy. There's a little inquiry box there you can check and email, and that'll probably go to me. So if you want to talk to me, go ahead, and I can fill you in on any details. But yeah, we're happy to help. Customer service and being there for support is a big priority for us as a company.
Very cool. And Vincent, if people want to know more about Moontooth and what you guys are up to,
you can find us on pretty much any platform: Spotify, Facebook, Instagram. I think we're making a TikTok this week. Anywhere you want to find Moontooth, you can find it. And if you want to contact me directly, ask me any questions about these basses or anything, you could find me on Instagram, just Vin Romes. And I'd love to talk to you guys if you have any questions.
Very cool. Well, gentlemen, it's been fabulous. It's always great to see something new and exciting. The NS Dimensions series from Specter. You've seen it here on Bass Musician Magazine.
All right. Thanks, Raul.
Thank you, bud.